Welcome to number 5 of the Wretched One podcast. My name's Rachel, and if you're in the UK, I hope you're enjoying your bank holiday Easter weekend. The weather is gorgeous. That's really rare, because as you know, when we have like a bank holiday, it normally rains, especially Carnival bank holiday weekend. I don't remember a bank holiday Monday during August when Carnival's on when it hasn't rained. And I swear for years I thought there was some sort of conspiracy where the government or somebody out there was changing the weather, as it were. But no, we had a good one today, so I can't complain. It's lovely outside. So you're probably not going to be listening to this today because you're too busy outside enjoying your Pims and pub gardens and just having a good old time. Anyway, my week was pretty good. I mean, we had a 4-day week, technically. Came in on Tuesday, and then obviously we had Friday off. So I had a 3-day week, which was even better. Good if you haven't got stuff to do. Now, I had a lot to do, so the panic sets in, because if you haven't got much to do, a 4-day week is bless. Everyone looks forward to it. But when you've got less days to cram in all that work, the stress sets in, and you just want to get everything done. And of course, it's half term at the moment as well. And then also, you've got less days. So you're trying to get hold of people that aren't around, number one, for tasks that they want you to do when they get back. So yeah, it was added stress. But the reward was obviously this lovely weekend that we've got and this Monday off. And we've got another one coming up at the beginning of May as well. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Since I've come back from my holidays, I think I said in my last podcast, I'm trying to get my health back because, you know, you eat a lot when you're on holiday and you really, you know, you get yourself a bit out of shape and you really want to get yourself back. Summer season's coming. So, you know, it was all well and good me going away and stuffing my face for 2 weeks. But now I've got to put the extra work in. And why is it easier to bang on like, you know, 5-6 pounds, but a mission to try and take it off? God, it's like, I thought nothing of sitting and eating for 2 weeks and go on the scales and boop. All of a sudden I've grown half an extra person. And now the real slog comes in. I went to my exercise class for the first time last week, Monday. And I'm telling you, I felt every single one of them pounds. I was sweating, I was out of breath, I felt heavy. And going back to today was the same. I was a bit stronger, but I can feel it. And it's literally, you don't realise the weight that you're carrying. So, you know, people who say, you know, they lose huge amounts of weight. You know, when you watch those stories like, what are those ones like My 600 Pound Life, or those ones where the people have to, The Biggest Loser. That's it. The Biggest Loser, where, you know, people lose all of that weight over a certain period of time. And they say, you know, they stop getting out of breath going up and down the stairs. They can go out and run with their kids. They just feel a bit more positive. It's because you physically feel lighter. And I always forget that, you know, it's all nice when, you know, you're putting it on and you're relaxing and, you know, okay, you look a little bit, you know, your clothes look a bit tight and stuff. But it's the actual physical effort that you need to actually take yourself around really does play a toll on you. So it's something that, you know, we all need to consider in the back of our minds, you know, when we're carrying extra weight or if we're going a bit too far. Think about those consequences in terms of, you know, can you really handle trying to lug all of that around? And the bigger you get, obviously, the harder it gets. So that's something that I'm paying for. So today's pole lesson, she had me working. Lisa always gets me working. And I felt every part of it. I am telling you, an effort just to pull my own body weight up a pole. It was killing me. So hopefully over the next 6 to 8 weeks, I'm back to my normal self and it won't be such a chore. So the week was good, very short. Crammed everything in, got it all done, happy with that. On came the weekend, which was fantastic. And then, you know, Friday night was really funny. So, like, me and my husband, it was so spontaneous. Like, we were sitting in the living room, you know, as you do with your other half or your friends, as you do, you know, you're sitting down together. And I thought, let's make some nice drinks. And one of the drinks I'm really into at the moment is whiskey sours. Whiskey sours are basically whiskey amaretto and lemon juice. That's it. It's like this new wave of old school, you know, Rat Pack drinks which are coming back. So you've got like whiskey sours, you've got Negronis, you've got French Connections, which are basically drinks that don't have any mixers. It's just pure booze. So they're really heavy boozy drinks, but they taste so good. So this whiskey sour tastes nice. And I've been drinking it for a little while. And I said to my husband, do you want me to make some whiskey sours and we'll just chill and listen to some music? And he was like, yeah, let's do this. I've never had a whiskey sour. Let me see what it tastes like. Mate, it was like drinking pop. So one after the other are going down. And then we put on some like Afro beats music and we were dancing in the living room. So you don't need to go out nowadays. You don't need to go out to have a good time. As long as you've got your drinks in the house and you've got some good music that you can select on your, you know, on your tablet or your phone. Nowadays, tablets and phones, the stereo quality is pretty good. You don't need to be, you know, jumping on night buses and trying to get taxis and things. If the company's good, you can have a good time. So we're there drinking. And then before you know it, we've downed maybe 2 and then we go on to the 3rd one. So we are mash up and we are dancing around the living room. My son looks at us, you know, in disgust. He decides, yeah, now's the time to take myself to bed because mum and dad, they're just being really uncool. So we're dancing away. Put another track on. Yeah, getting down, busting moves that I think I can bust. And I bet you, if anyone looked at me, I looked a right state. And then before we knew it, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. So my husband's like, right, we need to go to bed because we're actually out the next day. So we're out on the Saturday. This is Friday night, remember? So he's like, we need to go to bed. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And also I have to take my kid to maths in the morning at 10 a.m. And he's like, I can't get up the stairs. So we get ourselves upstairs to go to bed. And then that post-drink sickness, nausea hits. My God. So I sat on the bed and the wave got me. My stomach started turning. You know that feeling when you're going to be sick, but you can't be sick, but you can feel it. Your mouth's all watery and the room is spinning. So I'm trying to lay down because now I'm tired. You know, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Tiredness has hit me now, but so has heavy drunkenness. So as I lay down on the bed, the room's going and my stomach's going. So I'm having to sit up because I don't want to be sick. And I've got this like fear in my head, like if I lie back and I'm sick, say I choke. So I've got to sit up. So I'm trying to do everything. I ended up getting a bucket. I ended up getting the bucket downstairs, the one that I used to clean the floor, and holding it and then just putting my head over the bucket to just, you know, hopefully try and be sick. And I couldn't be sick. And I'm not one of those people to be, you know, putting fingers in throats and stuff. I just rather, if I'm going to be sick, your body's going to, you know, expel what's in there. Mate, my husband was fine. He was like, oh, I feel a bit ill. And then he went off to sleep. It was absolutely fine. The alcohol hit me bad. And I vowed, I was like, I'm never drinking again. And it reminded me of the first drink I ever had. Like, I never used to be a drinker when I was young. And when I grew up in, you know, North London with my friends, we just weren't drinking kids. I think it was just the culture at the time. It was all about, you know, R&B, hip hop, going to clubs, just drinking water, not drugs either, just drinking water and, you know, dancing. That's what the main thing was. It was the music and it was the dancing. So by the time I went to uni, and I went to uni in Yorkshire, I went to uni in Bradford, I remember my first week, there was this girl, and her name was Debbie Gibson. Yes, Debbie Gibson, for all you old heads out there, like the, you know, recording artist Debbie Gibson, but she was Debbie Gibson from South Shields, which is near Newcastle. Really funny girl. And I remember it was a night out. We were all going to the FND, which was the Friday night disco. And she said to me, oh, you're a southerner. You're a southern softie. Southerners can't drink. I'm not even going to try and do her Geordie accent. She was like, southerners can't drink. And there's me, not wanting to be mugged off. I was like, no, we can drink. Never drunk before, by the way. The only drinks I've ever had at the time was like maybe Baileys and maybe my granny giving me a little bit of sherry. That was it. So I'm like, yeah, we can drink. We can drink. So she's like, okay then, we'll see about that. So we're all in her room in halls, you know, like university halls when you're all like, you know, you're all staying there. And so there was about 4 of us in the room and she went and got a pint glass and she filled it with Taboo. Now, Taboo, there were 2 drinks, Taboo and Mirage. And they were like these kind of, liqueur, schnapsy kind of drinks, like tropical tasting. They were really sweet, and you're supposed to mix them with like lemonade. This was the time when like Archer's was big, and Southern Comfort, and I think Hooch came out as well. So these kind of sweet drinks. I was like, yeah, okay then, a pint. I'm thinking about it now, like, how am I still here telling this story? So she filled the pint glass with Taboo, and then I'm there, and I knocked it back. And then I was like, yeah, see, we can drink. We were supposed to be going out that night, remember? So we're all dressed up to go. So she's like, oh, wow, okay. All right. And I said to her, well, wait a minute, let me go in my room and get my, I think I wanted to get my wallet so that I could go back out. That is all I remember. All I remember is saying, let me go and get my wallet. Anyway, the next day, I wake up in my bed and, you know, I feel refreshed and happy. And I look, and my room door in the dorms is mash up. Like somebody had tried to get in. So I'm like, oh, so I get up and I get dressed and everything, go and have my shower, get dressed. And then I meet the others downstairs for breakfast. And they're like, Rach, are you all right? And I'm like, why? What happened? They were like, man, you left us and said you were going to get your wallet. We're all waiting there, dressed, ready to go to walk across to the FND. We don't see you. So we go to your room and it's locked. So we're there trying to bang on the door, trying to, get your attention. And we're thinking, oh my God, she's dead in there. She drank a whole pint glass of Taboo. She's dead in there. So they went and got the caretaker, and he came and he busted the door in. And they found me in bed, in my pajamas, with my hair tied up. All this muscle memory must have kicked in. Contact lenses taken out, makeup taken off. So hair was plaited up for the night with the headscarf on top, pajamas, fast asleep. And they were like, what? And the caretaker was like, well, she seems all right. She's sleeping nicely. She doesn't look like she's in any distress. Fine. So they all went on to the FND and left me. And it was so funny because I didn't remember. And that was the last time I ever drank anything where it got me to that point. I mean, Taboo and Mirage though, look it up, Google those drinks. I would love to know what the alcoholic content was of those, especially for somebody who, as I said, only had maybe Baileys and a bit of sherry. So the next morning, after the Friday night of drinking whiskey sours with my husband, absolutely hanging. My head is so foggy. I don't think I was, had the headache, but I just felt so foggy and groggy. I felt like how I used, when you drank when you were in your 20s and you go out and you get that foggy hangover, except life has taken over. I'm a mother. I have a child that needs to go to tutorials in the morning, and there's laundry to be done, and there's things to do. And that's the funny thing, when you become a parent, you've got this other person that doesn't care that you had a night out, that you've had a drink. And that's even when they're a baby, it doesn't stop. They don't go off work on a weekend. It carries on. So I had to get up, take him to his maths lesson, Lord, and listening to the chatter of, your child as they're talking about their day, and then get in and do all the laundry and all the normal stuff you have to do on a Saturday. And then came the night, so I had to do it all again. So come like about, I think it was 7 o'clock, I had to get dressed up to go down to a party that was being held by a really long time friend of ours that, we literally, once finishing uni, we all grew up together, and he was basically holding a DJ night down in London. So remember, we don't live in London. So me and my husband, we drove down because both of us were like, we are not drinking. We're not drinking a damn thing. So drove down there. I was all dressed up, and got there about 11 o'clock. And I tell you what's really strange nowadays is there's almost, people do dress up, but not all the time for clubs. I've noticed that lately. The look is more, trainers, and, the girls wear maybe long skirts, trainers, t-shirts, and they come to dance basically. And the guys are quite cash as well. I was very dressed up, really dressed, because I just wanted to be dressed. And I always think back to my friend Selena, who says, there is never a time when you are overdressed. So I never feel bad being overdressed, because, it's better to be overdressed than underdressed. But I've noticed that, people in clubs nowadays or going out, there is this more relaxed way of dressing going out. And it reminds me of when I used to go clubbing and dance to like jungle. So like jungle nights, and if anyone remembers that as well, jungle nights, you'd go and you would literally go in your trainers and your little skirt and your t-shirt, you know, very 90s, and you went there to dance. That was what it was about. It wasn't there to profile, to look good. I don't think I even wore that much makeup when I went to jungle events. I just know that I'd go and I was there dancing all night. And no wonder I was this little skinny thing, because it's literally pure cardio what you'd be doing. Pure cardio, but it was a great atmosphere. And I've noticed that that's happening again now, which is really nice to see. Everybody, when I went out on Saturday night, was just having a great time, relaxed. As I said, dressed to relax and to dance. Not many girls were in heels. I was in heels, but there was maybe about 4 or 5 of us compared to the rest of the girls that were there. But in terms of the attitudes as well, everybody was just welcome to dance with each other, talk to each other. It was really, really nice, a breath of fresh air. And it was good to see, because, you know, sometimes when you're online and you see a lot of negativity about what's going on and about harmony and how, you know, everybody's quite segregated in the way that they're thinking nowadays with the internet, because you can be, because of all the pockets of different thought bubbles that are going, you can stay in that bubble. So when you look at reality and see everybody's just getting along, all creeds, all colours, having a great time, it was fun to see. So, yep, I was getting down and I drank 1 ginger ale and 2 glasses of water. And yeah, I was glad of that. It suited me absolutely fine. One thing about the club that did get me is the smell. Some people come to the club and their armpits are humming. Like, some people take the time before they go out. You know, the whole ritual of going out to a club or going out to a bar is, you know, you come in, wherever you are, you have your dinner, and then you take that time to, like, you know, you put on your favourite music and you have your shower. And this is men and women. You have your shower, you lay out your clothes, and you know what you know what you're gonna wear, and then you make sure that you smell good. The whole ritual is, you know, you get the nice perfume out, you get the nice aftershave out, and you make yourself ready so that when you go to the club, and in the off chance you might get lucky, at least you're not stinking when you're up in front of somebody. So you've brushed your teeth and your armpits are nice. But I'm telling you, people nowadays don't care. Because I was there and I could count about 3 men, I'll say men because it wasn't the girls, or 3 men that was smelling like doner kebab. You know that doner kebab armpit smell? We all know it. We're going to be smelling it a lot come the summer, where it's like they ain't bothered to shower, and maybe the clothes or the shirt they put on is the same shirt that they wore last week Saturday that they had when they went out, and then they didn't bother to wash it. They thought, I'll just put it back on again. What I call banister clothes. Clothes that are hung over the banister when you finish wearing them with the hope that you can put them on again. You know those ones. Them people there, they have no scruples. Or they can't smell themselves. Maybe they just get to a point where they're like, I can't smell anything. A bit like when you get your favourite perfume and you wear it so often that you can't smell it anymore. So you just get used to the smell. And everybody obviously is drinking so much. And remember, I was sober. So maybe my nose was a lot more sensitive. I have a very sensitive sense of smell anyway. And then having to smell people's armpits in such close proximity as well. Jeez. And I remember back in the day, and I think I even shared this on my social media, I remember back in the day when you used to go to the club and the DJ used to stop the music and be like, hey, someone in here didn't shower before they came out. And almost like it was a way of socially shaming people to remember next time you need to make sure that you've had a wash so you don't get called out. Because they didn't say no names, but everybody knew who it was, and I'm sure that person would know too, because people sort of like back away from that person and look a little bit. But not on Saturday. People's arms are waving free, they were busting moves, and my nose was burning. You know that smell? When it smells so bad, your nose is burning like you're going to sneeze. And I'm trying not to make up my face because I don't really want to be like that. You know, that grumpy auntie that's like, it smells in here. You want to just think like, let me hold it down and do the best I can. But, ooh, it smelled like kebab for real. one of the things I like to do is read a couple of books at the same time. I always like reading one non-fiction book, so like normally like a historical novel. I like that, you know. I've always had this thing about philosophers or books about the Second World War. You know, they may sound boring to some people, but I find them really, really interesting. So I've always got one of those kind of books on the go. And then I'll have like maybe a fictional book on the go at the same time. And if I'm really feeling like, yeah, I can spread my brain a bit further, I'll have some sort of professional working, you know, book that can help me improve my career. So the book that I've just finished reading was a book on Isaac Newton, or Sir Isaac Newton. That took me ages because it was really dry and a lot to get through. It spread up near the end, but that was like a factual historical book. And it was fascinating because I wanted to just find out a little bit more about him. Because he was the president of the Royal Society, I'm now going to be moving on to a book about the Royal Society. So that's my kind of historical book that I'm reading at the moment. And then my fictional one is the complete works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote the Sherlock Holmes books. So I'm reading those at the same time. So those are the two kind of books that I've got going at the moment. And another book that I really want to get into is a book I've got which is about digital marketing and digital performance marketing. I want to read a bit more on that because that surrounds the kind of work that I do as well. But as I've always said, my brain is like a computer, you know, web page with like, you know, 5 to 10 different tabs open at the same time. So I get bored really quickly on just one thing. So I like to have more than one thing going at the same time. So hence why I've got, you know, lots of different books going on. And I like to read things that are unconventional as well, you know, because history is something that I love and I find it so fascinating, you know, when people take the time to do some research on a particular historical figure and write a book about it. That's something I really admire. I mean, I'd love to do something like that. But yeah, I'm enjoying doing all those three. And I'm thinking once I've done the Royal Society book, I might have a look at another interesting historical figure. Maybe I'll look at a woman, because a lot of the people I've read up at the moment are men. So I'll have a look at a female one as well. So I'm coming to the end of this very short podcast because, you know, there wasn't much going on. It's been quite a short week and there's not many things that have disturbed me this week, which is quite good. But one of the things I'm definitely going to do more is, as well as taking care of the outside of myself, which is what I've been doing with my exercising, and I always make sure I do that. I need to take more care of my insides as well. You know, drinking all of that alcohol made me think, gosh, that wasn't a very smart thing to do, to be putting away, you know, really it was just raw bourbon and amaretto. No, you know, no mixers, no water. What is that doing to my liver and my pancreas and my insides? So, you know, something that I need to really carefully consider. So my final thought to everybody is, I hope that, you know, we make good decisions for the next few weeks and going forward for the future in what we eat and what we consume, in terms of whether it be drinking or whether people have other vices like smoking, etc. But just to take care, everything in moderation. And it's a very old saying, but when I think about it, it is very prevalent to, you know, us maybe, you know, looking after ourselves. We only get one of these vessels that we've got here, and it doesn't make any sense to, you know, be driving around with it and battering it. It's like getting a brand new car that you get to keep for life, but you abuse it, and you can patch it up in bits and you can get extra parts and you can, you know, maybe change the interior from time to time, but there's going to come a point where the mechanic's going to be like, mate, there's nothing more we can do. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. So I'm drinking, you know, much more water. I've got more fruits into my diet. I even went to like Holland and Barrett and got some multivitamins and iron and vitamin B12 because I don't eat meat. And I want to make sure that I'm around for the right amount of time, and not that I'm, you know, wasting it away by being silly and drinking too much and doing things that I shouldn't be doing. So yes, I'm going to take care of myself, and I hope that all of you take care of yourselves. And until next week, goodbye.